Hey, what is going on, Automotive Nation? Hey, thanks for coming back and welcome to another episode of the Game Changer Holiday Series where, man, I just had an opportunity to literally talk to anybody and everybody that is just changing the game when it comes to operations at a dealership, guys. And I am very excited. Looking forward all week to this particular session because it's so timely. Plus, it was just a great conversation. It was a lot of fun to have. I know that you guys are really going to enjoy today's conversation. So if you're running a dealership today, you already know this, right? The stores that win aren't always the ones with the best inventory or the biggest ad budgets. They're the ones that communicate better, respond faster, and deliver a cleaner customer experience at every touch point. You guys know that is the holy grail of profitability is that experience. All right. Today's session is all about that exact advantage. Okay. I'm joined by Kurt, sales director with Podium, and we're going to be breaking down how dealerships can streamline communications, modernize reputation management, and turn everyday conversations into real revenue. Look, guys, I've said this before. If you watch my podcast before, you know I'm a big proponent of this, right? We got to, as an industry, stop counting leads and we have to start counting how many conversations we're in. All right. Because it's those conversations that will ultimately move the needle when it comes to revenue. All right. So here's just quick intro, right? We're talking about what actually is happening inside the dealership right now. All right. Slow follow up, missed after hours opportunities, inconsistent messaging, and reviews that are quietly costing the store deals before the customers ever call. Right. I'm sure you guys got a handful of those as well. Right. Kurt's going to share real examples of how dealers are using modern messaging. Modern, not, I'm going to use the word modern here. All right. I ain't talking about no CRM template here. Right. Modern messaging and AI driven conversations to increase appointments, improve show rates, strengthen CSI, and build long term customer loyalty across sales and service. Everything's about conversation. I cannot stress enough how important communication is right now. All right. So if you're GM, GSM, dealer principal, BDC manager, or service director, this conversation is built for you. And I need you guys like get ready for this. So grab a pen, all right, clear any of the distractions, and get ready for a session that will challenge how you think about communication inside your dealership and show you ultimately what you got to do to win. All right, guys, you ready? Let's get started.
Started Podium was a tire shop. That's where it all began. Every dealer's had an experience with, I'll call it an if-then AI, which is if something happens, the AI does this, right? That is dead. Like that is old AI. That is what we call chatbots AI. That is not what today's large language model LLM AIs are. They are conversational tools that actually can do, I think, as good or better than maybe a current BDC rep in a dealership. I think we're seeing that's a company where like they're taking service phone calls, right, from an AI perspective, and I think that is an area where untapped. Like it's a very untapped area, and the technology is getting better, right, from voice AI, and I think that's an area where we can see massive improvements over the next 24 to 36 months.
Yes.
Right now, Jerry can handle AI tools, chat tools can handle, text conversations around scheduling. All service scheduling happens on the phone. Mm-hmm. So that's an area where there's a massive opportunity. And I think you're going to see huge advancement in service. And I think beyond that, you're going to see a lot of mining. When I say mining, it's how do I take your current data, your current database, and your CRM of potential customers and your DMS the customers have bought? How do I find additional revenue in there?
Yes.
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Automotive Nation? Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Game Changer Seminar. I am Jason Harris.
And guys, I have looked far, high, and wide, all right, to bring some of the best in for this series, and these people are truly game changers. Guys, this next set of gentlemen that I get to talk to represents Podium. Podium is changing the game when it comes to follow-up. If you guys aren't currently using an AI in your operations, you guys need to grab some popcorn, notebook, and a pen, and get ready for this session. So guys, big round of applause. I got Kurt and Travis with me. Guys, come on up. What's going on, guys? How you doing? Good to see you. What's up, man? How you doing?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Guys, I am excited to get into this.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
I'm going to share a quick little story, and then I want to get kind of into you guys' kind of origin stories because that's how I love kicking this stuff off, right? So,
Okay, sounds good.
first manager I ever had, okay? I thought the guy was a total prick. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was a total prick, right? He was very much so a...
So I am Travis's manager. So this story might tackle. This might hit a chord here.
This might hit a chord. We'll see how this is, Travis. What was... I started in this industry in a dealership that very much so understood the concept of buy or die. All right. I mean, I had a floor manager that either that customer I was talking to ultimately ended up buying a car, or I was bringing in their actuary and showing them that they were no longer in market. And, you know, this was just kind
Two
of
options.
two options. That was it. Those were the only two options I had. And that was the era of automotive that I started in. And it's kind of funny to see how kind of like old school stuff starts becoming new school again. So
Yes.
that's why I'm so excited to really kind of get to these guys. But let's do this. Let's kick this off. I love kicking off these conversations with a little origin story.
Okay.
A, because I'm fundamentally fascinated.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody just wakes up one day and goes, yeah, let's do that.
Let's do this. Yes.
So real quick, just kind of how you guys got started and why in the world did you choose automotive?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Podium is what started Podium was a tire shop. So our founder, Eric Ray, his father owned a tire shop, couldn't get reviews for the life of him. He had tried for years, only got negative reviews. So his son started a platform, simple platform, sent out a review text to get a review. That was in 2014. Obviously, we've come a long way since then, but we started in the auto service industry. That's where it all began.
That's awesome. I love that real kind of grassroots. I mean, I think
Yeah.
for a lot of people out there watching and listening right now, if you guys have been in the business for a long time, I mean, you guys started at a gas station
Yep.
or something along
Yep.
that line. So
One single tire shop up in Calgary, Canada, and now it turned into Podium.
I love that. It's embedded into your guys' DNA. It's one of the things I've always admired. Travis, for yourself, man, like, why automotive? What
He's
were you
thinking.
thinking?
He's thinking about it. That's a question we ask ourselves all the time, right? Why automotive?
Yeah, it really varies. I mean, one day you're really happy. There's a lot of highs and lows, but I think it's just these are some of the realest people you ever meet and do business with. I came from before I came to Podium. I came from Fortune 500 company, and then dealing with the auto space. Once I came into Podium, it just made sense. These people aren't trying to lie to you. You can see on their faces what they're thinking. And at the end of the day, they want things to work, and Podium works. And so that's why I'm smiling today, because it's an awesome product since day one, since I got to Podium. So
It is very gratifying to see those results.
Yeah.
One of the things you guys are going to find through watching this entire series is that everybody that is coming onto this series, they really do want to be a vendor partner.
Yep.
And they get equally excited about your success as you guys get excited about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And that's just one of the reasons why we put this group together. So, all right, guys, let's get into
Okay,
it.
let's
'cause
get into it.
I love talking
Let's
about
change the game.
AI. That was like, boom, boom, boom.
What is AI, right?
Right?
That's the bigger question.
Well, I think I want to start, and I do. I want to get into what is it, but I want to start with kind of like the why now, right? I mean, AI has been around for decades. Maybe for some of you don't know
maybe,
that.
yeah.
It's been out there in
in
some
different
form.
forms, yeah.
Exactly, in some form. But why is it finally transitioning over to automotive sales today? That's my question for you guys. Let's start there.
I think every dealer's had an experience with, I'll call it an if-then AI, which is if something happens, the AI does this, right? That is dead. Like, that is old AI. That is what we call chatbots AI. That is not what today's large language model, LLM AIs are. They are conversational tools that actually can do, I think, as good or better than maybe a current BDC rep in a dealership. And that is why I think for the very first time in the past, I'd even say the past 12 months, I think our product's been out for 2 years. The first year was a lot of learnings. A lot of maybe dealers who weren't super happy with like the conversations that were happening, but it was way better than it had been in the past. One thing you learn about dealers, that I've learned about dealers, is they expect perfection.
Yeah.
And I think back to your point, that's why I enjoy working with them, because it challenges us to be perfect, right? To be better. So I think in the past year, like AI is having true conversations with customers, like selling conversations,
Oh,
not
100%.
not a hey, let me get back to you, or let me get you in touch with somebody. It's no, let me answer your question and then send you a VDP of a vehicle that might interest you. Like selling to a customer.
That's either at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m.
Or midnight.
Regardless if they had their coffee,
Yeah.
regardless if they're on their phone. So.
And you guys, I mean, I can share a great example of this. Funny enough, I didn't actually even know I was talking to Jerry, which is Podium's
That's our AI
AI
tool, yeah,
Yes,
Jerry.
I love it. By the way, you guys can name it whatever you want, but I will not allow you to name it Candy. Don't do it. If I see it, I will call you out as a dealer.
What's your issue with candy?
Just don't do
maybe
it.
A story for a different time. Okay, another conversation.
So, but guys, so I recently bought a Silverado. All right, LT Trail
Orange?
Boss.
I'm assuming orange.
Had to be orange.
It's got to be orange.
Not yet.
Okay.
No, my other vehicle is orange, but yes, this one's getting
Okay.
this one's actually getting wrapped very, very soon to be orange, because they just couldn't make that right orange. It had to be orange. But when I was looking for a specific truck, I did not want a sunroof. I know that sounds like the silliest thing in the world. All right, but I will tell you right now, that is a crazy ask in the specific trim that I was looking for. I actually ended up having to get this truck almost 200 miles away because I wanted this one specific trim. So that's how most of my conversations started. Do you have this truck in stock, and does it have a sunroof? Because 90+% of the ones that were out there had one. I didn't know at the time that this dealership used Podium, which is hilarious because I've been working with you guys. I've been working with you guys for a while. So getting into conversation with it, it was like, yes, we do. Here it is. You know, is there anything else you're looking for the truck? And I said, well, you know, I just recently moved to the area. All right, and this is my first time getting into this size of truck. All right, and I was, oh, that's great. And it asked me where I moved from.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said, oh, I just moved from Toronto, Canada. And the whole time, guys, I'm telling you, I legitimately thought I was just talking to some BDC rep. They're like, oh, that's great. And he even went so far as to ask me, what do you like about Tennessee? You just moved here. And I'm like, oh, I
Creating
love
a relationship with you.
Holy crap! I was blown away, guys. I said, "Oh, I'm really getting into fishing. I never got into fishing. Now I'm getting into fishing." And it kept it on. And of course, then it asked me, "Did I want to book my test drive?" And at this point, I'm
it'll
like,
keep selling though. It'll create a
it will,
conversation
I'm
and it'll
like,
keep selling.
That's what I thought was most impressive. And I didn't know this, guys. It wasn't actually until the entire transaction was done that I actually found out at that point in time I had been talking to Jerry the whole time, which was absolutely ironic because I had already been working with you guys for a while. So
And that is the why now.
There you go.
That's the why now.
That is.
I mean, the biggest compliment is for someone to come in to the physical dealership and say, hey, is Jerry here? Like, that means we did our job correctly.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, a couple of years ago, that really...
It wouldn't happen.
It
Couldn't happen, no.
And Travis, I'm sure you've seen some great examples of this playing out as well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because they just got used to a lead capture, send it to the CRM. But they didn't know what was out there. And frankly, we didn't really know what was capable of until you see it in action. In theory, we see AI being this phenomenal tool, but I didn't really get a sense of how good it was until I had dealers. I speak with dealers every day, and they're telling me, this Jerry is for real. Like, this is insane what it's doing. And they're showing me screenshots of conversations to the point I'm like, all right, it's cool. You email me. You don't have to text me at 11 o'clock at night.
They're excited.
But yeah, it's awesome.
It is really cool to see the real-time results kind of play out.
Yeah,
and some of
absolutely.
the things I found as I'm playing and I'm testing and I'm pushing Jerry was just some of the deeper questions that customers have that for me as an operator, I always had to train and coach on. So the biggest one is like, as a dealership, how do we respond to customers asking us about if they have bad credit and how we should handle that? I tell you, man, if I could get all of my sales team to respond the way Jerry did, it was impressive. It was what I found interesting. It was with empathy. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have seen this play out a few
It-
times. Do you have some
absolutely.
other examples of that playing out?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because not every car buying experience is the same. And so right off the bat, you can tell who you're talking to in the first two questions. And then really quickly, if a dealer's using a generic AI, they're going to ask the same two questions again, over and over again. And it's a cycle. And so I think we should expect more out of an AI, and you should expect this red carpet. You know, if someone's giving you their name and number, it's not just for fun. It's not a fun thing. It's something that they have a question, and now they're expecting an answer. And when you start to give them an answer within a minute, their experiences is transformed. We're
Yeah.
giving them a transformative experience, and all we're doing is just answering the question. How simple is that?
Well, we say that how simple is
Yes,
that?
exactly. Not that simple.
Yet, as an industry,
Yes.
we've been known to kind of want to put padlocks on information
Yes. Yeah.
and have them take different actions or go through certain hoops,
no more bait
all
and
right, to get to do that. And consumers aren't interested in that. So I might be dating myself, but one of the first jobs I had actually outside of the automotive space was working for Radio Shack.
Okay.
Whoa.
That's just,
And what was key about Radio Shack is you have questions, I have answers. right?
unlike Home Depot or Lowe's, right? No
Exactly.
offense to Home Depot or Lowe's. If anybody, if you're affiliated, I apologize. But similar, yeah. Like you don't get answers.
No. And that's where I saw one of the just the most impressive of where that technology is at now is that like legitly this is what you're giving your customers the ability to. It's like they have a question, Jerry's got an answer. And if it can't immediately answer, it's going to play it off. But okay, so here's where I want to go.
Okay.
There's a lot in AI, and I think dealerships right now they're being bombarded with that.
It
with
can
that
feel
word.
very daunting.
It does.
Yes.
So, just many dealers are asking, like, just where do I start with AI? I mean, when I think about my entire operations and all this stuff that I have to do, where do you guys recommend that we start with AI?
We're getting close to the point where it's all in. I mean, I think we're getting
close.
close. But
We're close.
if we're not there yet, I would say review response is a very simple and easy way to start kind of dipping your toes in. Having AI respond to all the reviews. I think dealerships are used to having somebody on staff do it or to pay somebody, an outside source to do it. You don't have to do that anymore. You can use AI to respond. It's simple, it's easy, you can start to get comfortable, but I think that needs to be the baby step into moving into lead response because that is where you're going to see ROI. You're going to see yourself making money when you start using it for lead response.
100%. And for everybody out there watching and listening, Google reviews I still think are one of the most underrated opportunities for most operations.
Which you
out
wouldn't
there.
think in 2025 that we're still having to educate on reviews. In 2016 2015 when we started the company, that was the point when people were still needing to be educated. I would think by 2025 we would be at the point where everyone knows how important reviews are. That's not the case. They are extremely important.
Well, and I'm with you, but I think it's not necessarily for the reason. See, everyone thinks it's a good review that's the most important, right?
It's not.
To what you kind of brought up earlier, this is how consumers look. They look at your 5 stars, all right, then they go look at all your 1 stars. In fact, you can actually filter it that way.
I
So
want
it
to
makes it
see
really
the
easy.
most recent 1-star review.
Yes.
And how did you respond to it?
There you go.
That's what matters.
That is the key right there. And I think for dealers out there, that's one of our biggest opportunities. Right, when someone is looking to do business with us, they're looking for an experience.
Absolutely.
And that is a great place for them to go to learn about other customers' experiences. They understand that not all consumers are great consumers, but the way you respond to those 5 stars and the way you respond to those 1 stars says so much about you as a business that truly impacts a big decision.
I'm already assuming that the customer was crazy. I'm already making that assumption. But the way that the business responds, that impacts how I think about doing business with you. Because I know you're not perfect. No business is perfect. If I have a bad experience, are you going to take care of me, or am I going to have to fight you on it? That's the question. So yeah, it's not always about the 5-star reviews. It's about the 1-star reviews and how do you respond. So that's why I think using AI for review response is a great way to just kind of dip your toes and just start in the AI world.
Travis, would you want to add anything to that?
I think it's important to understand that this is something that can be done with with the push of a button to make it easy, and opening the door to allowing AI to work smarter. We're trying to work smarter, not harder. And we think that it's going to make our lives harder than it needs to be. But in reality, this is low-level things that the AI is taking care of, so you don't have to be trying to put out fires, you know. And it's something that when you start to see it and it's working for the dealership, then you start to ease back and, okay, let's put out this fire over here because we know that this AI is taking care of us.
And then you move into after-hour lead response.
Yes.
And then you move into closed day lead response. And then you start dipping your toes into, you know, during the day. Like you become comfortable with the way it interacts with your customers pretty quickly.
Yes.
But I think dealers just need to see it first and get comfortable and know that it's like the leads are the most important part of their business. So like you don't want to just let something go that you don't have comfort or you don't have a trust in.
And for the dealers out there that are looking to really kind of start with AI, one of the best advice I can give you is to really look at your people and your process first, right? I think too often we kind of jump to the piece of technology and we forget that, we are a people business. We've said it for decades, and it's the truth of it. Okay, I still want to deal with a person, but also look at your process. Right? To your point, it is 2025. I mean, there's no excuse in the world for anybody out there watching and listening right now not to have a documented process for your people to flow in. And once you've really kind of looked at where your people and your process, so that's where I say you start. Look at your people, look at your process, all right. And when you start to see gaps in that, then you're able to work towards the technology to ensure that we're filling those gaps. Because look, guys, I've been on the other side of a dealer, principal, or owner coming in and going, I just got back from this amazing Game Changer seminar, and I was talking to Kurt and Travis, and oh my gosh, we have it's going to change, and I don't even know anything about it. I'm just being told we're going to use it. So, I think it's key for anybody out there, talk to your people, look at your process, move towards the technology.
Jason, you hit the nail on the head that AI does not fix a broken process.
Correct.
It exaggerates a good process. It makes a good process better, but it will not fix a broken process.
No, it truly won't. Okay, so let's do this. I think you're right. I mean, look, if the process is broken, the process is broken. Not a piece of technology in the world is ever going to fix
And it's not
this.
a set it and forget it. Like you don't install and just say, okay, good luck.
Thank you for saying that. I guess in the AI space right now, if you hear a vendor say that, you just hit the easy button, the AI does it all for you.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Thank you.
It's you have to think about it as an employee.
Yes.
And would you hire an employee and then never talk to it again? Don't talk to it. Talk to
No,
I know. Yes, I know. I have a hard time talking about AI as a person, and then now I'm having a hard time talking about a person as an AI. But you never talk to that employee again. No, you'd work with that employee and train it. That's the same thing with AI. So there is not a single AI in the world that you can just install and walk away from.
100%.
Like we're not there. And I don't think we're ever going to be there because every dealership, every customer, every process is different. And that's okay.
And that's why it's incredibly important to make sure that those processes are in place.
Yep.
I know, guys, I work closely with Podium, and I know we were recently looking at an example where a customer asked Jerry if they could purchase a car with their Amex.
Yep.
Now, according to this dealership's website, all right, they clearly stated that they accept American Express.
Yes.
With no stipulations, just the fact they accepted it. Well, just like any new salesperson, I can see a new salesperson saying this exact same thing.
Yep.
Well, boss, I read it online. It says that, you could buy it. So Jerry responded, of course you can buy it with this. Well, that's not exactly
Not true.
what we wanted to happen.
Yeah.
But again, and that's what I'm saying. That's a sign of a good AI, guys, is that you need to have those times where it's going to get it's a new salesperson. And yes, it's got a lot of context out of the gate. It's
got a ton of context.
But it needs some time.
And it will make mistakes.
Yes, 100%.
I think we're past the days of, selling a car for $1. I think we're past those days.
Yes.
But it will make mistakes like that, which you just got to train it. You got to teach it, right? If it's going to gather the data in, good data in is good data out. So if the website says you can pay with an Amex, that's the information it has.
And
so it has to go off the information that it has.
Absolutely right. And I have yet to find a dealer that does the same lead flow as the other dealer down the road. Everyone has their own unique way of handling leads and how they want to be worked. And I think it's important of molding this AI to work with the process and not make it easy for them.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm with you guys. So that, like I said, you've heard us say it: lean towards the process before you lean towards the
Trust the
technology.
process.
Let's get into just kind of how it can impact the store, because
Okay.
I think there's just so many different places. And you mentioned a little bit earlier about after hours leads. We talked a little bit about turnover. Also we've talked a little bit about having multiple people have to touch a lead.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into how this can impact the store.
I think the first thing that comes to my mind was I was talking to a dealer. He had recently had to let go of 3 BDC reps that were on the dealership probably less than 6 weeks. And he said in total, from onboarding him to offboarding him to training, he said that was $20,000. And he said it like it was nothing, like he was ordering lunch for his family. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I think from that standpoint, because I think it goes often overlooked of how we've kind of come accustomed to, the turnover. And I think that on these lower levels, that we actually should, look to how we can maybe retain them rather than just sending them off as quickly as we can. And so I think that was a big eye opener. And he was in the process of getting Podium set up, and he said, well, this is going to be a game changer for our dealership because we just let go of 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah. And from overhead to, like you said, after hours and off days. But the reality is, like, I think every dealer that I've worked with that started using Podium or using Jerry or AI for after hours, within weeks, we're letting them handle every single lead that came into the dealership.
Yep.
Because they trusted it. And the way that we look at ROI is we look at, the goal of Jerry is to get someone in the dealership, to get a test drive booked and get them in the dealership.
Absolutely.
And once they get there, then it's the face-to-face, like you talked about. That's when salespeople shine, right? So we look at ROI from, are we increasing appointment sets? Are we increasing show rates, right? Are we getting people in the dealership? Are we increasing by double digits, what you currently are doing today? And that's when we look at and say, okay, Jerry's working. And in every scenario, Jerry is working.
Well, and you're right. Not only just in the after hours, and I'm amazed how many questions come in after hours.
People don't sleep anymore.
They
They're all hyped
they
up
don't
on
sleep
caffeine.
anymore. Depending on where you are in the region of the country, the shift work is a real thing. It's just we're not. We can't be there when the customer wants us to be there when we're only operating from a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 8 or a 9 to 9 time frame. It's just not good enough anymore. Also, I think, at the times when my brain is able to slow down a little bit and think about, all right, a bigger purchase that I'm going to make, between, all right, great, I work from 9 to 5, kids are off, now we got dinner, now we got to rush to this soccer game and that basketball game and this golfing thing. And it's like, it's probably 10 plus o'clock at night before I get down to it and go, hon, we really need to think about some of this stuff. And that's where I find some of those bigger conversations are actually happening.
So 2 nights ago, we had a long day. I have 2 kids. My wife and I sat down on the couch, let's put a movie on, right? It's like 8:30, 8:45. At 9 o'clock, I looked over. She was on her phone. I was on my phone. Right? Not because we didn't enjoy the movie or we didn't want to spend time together. It was like we actually had a second to do a couple things that we wanted to get done, right? I was looking for tires for my son's car. She was looking at something else. But you're right. That was the first time we had an opportunity to sit down and actually let our brain calm down and accomplish some of the things we were hoping to accomplish.
And I think that's, now I'm going to add one more in there for how this can impact the store. For a lot of you guys nowadays, if you guys have been watching my content for a long period of time, I operated a store that spoke many, many different languages. I was in a market that easily spoke 10 different languages. Everything from Portuguese to Russian to Spanish to French to English. There were a lot, and as a manager, I felt bad because there were a lot of times that I just didn't know what was being said or what was going on, where I couldn't inject myself from a coaching or a training perspective. And
absolutely.
this is one of the things that I am so insanely impressed, about just AI technology in general, is that how many different languages does Jerry speak?
I don't know. How many are there?
Last time I heard it was over 10.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and dialects, it's impressive, and it's not.
Yes.
It again, we've all used Google Translate in the past 10 years, and you said, and it's not even close because using formal versus informal.
Yep.
Jerry does it in the right way, right? So it's the actual translation that the way that someone would speak in a different language. It's impressive.
Well, and I see the biggest opportunity is as a manager being able to see that translation get played out, so that I'm like watching the conversation go in, and I go, oh, whoa. He doesn't know that this promo or special is going on. I need to go let him know.
Because you can see it in real time in
It's like
translation.
I
You can see it in your language while it's getting done written in a different language.
Yeah, so I can go over to the sales guy. I'm like, hey, you didn't mention this and this. Like, go, oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. So huge opportunity.
It's efficiency, right?
Yes.
Like, and to your point, Travis, earlier, the efficiency goes even beyond the ROI. Like, I just recently was looking for a used truck, and I was trying to figure out this exact model with this build, what the tow capacity was. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to figure out tow capacity out based upon a VIN or like this truck could tow between 6,000 and 13,000 pounds depending on the configuration, which is a big difference. Yeah. You know what I went to our demo account and asked Jerry what the tow capacity was, and it gave me an answer in 15 seconds, the correct answer, it turns out, because I actually called the dealer to verify, and it was that. So again, efficiency. If that question had been asked of a sales rep or a BDC rep, that could take them 5, 10, 15 minutes to get that answer.
Yes.
Jerry had it in seconds.
I saw another good example of that play out where there was a conversation where a mother said that I have a 6'2" son.
Yep.
Will he fit in the third row seat? How much room is there? And it gave the
number of
exact-
inches that are left between his knees and the back seat.
I was like, shit, I need to know that.
I know. I'm using Jerry to answer some of my own personal questions throughout the day.
I had no idea what it was, but Jerry did, so that's phenomenal. Travis, anything you want to add to that?
It's just another tool in the tool belt, and I think that's something that you should expect more from your AI, right? So I think it's important equipping your sales guys and your staff to experience success on a regular basis, and so that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now I want to get into the proofs in the numbers, because I think we've shared a fair amount of success stories, but man, there truly are some real, tangible, true number.
Yes.
And the one I know that that we're using right now is one of Southtown, the case study of Southtown, right?
Yeah, almost a 70% jump in sales numbers.
Almost kind of afraid to say because it sounds so.
It sounds made up. It is not made up. It is verified, actual
by people
information.
way smarter than us. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it, guys. Tell me about Southtown. What was the big problem? How did AI ultimately help?
Yeah, I think it's a similar case study you'd find in any dealership you'd walk into of like when it got busy, leads fell through the cracks.
Sure.
When they had an after hours answering phone system, but not really great for any inbound internet leads. So leads weren't being answered to in the evenings. Like again, they were doing the right things, right? But as every dealership knows, like even when you implement the right things, they don't always actually happen the right way. And so by putting Jerry in, it was answering leads in real time within minutes. Consistently, the same way every time, 24/7, 365, and it brought more people in the door. Like, I have to give credit also to Southtown because when people got there, they sold the cars, right?
Yes,
they
did.
Yes, I mean, I was telling Travis earlier, like, I love Jerry because I feel like he does what should be the easy work, which is actually the hard work of getting somebody in the dealership.
Jerry does the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
for sure.
he does the heavy lifting. But then when he gets there, right, like, you still got to sell the car. Yeah. And so, but Jerry was able to get more people in the dealership for Southtown to shine and sell more cars.
Well, I mean, Jerry's kind of like, I started off the conversation very early when I said about the buy or die.
Yep.
Jerry's my buy or die.
and even beyond that, like, I think as salespeople, right, we're going to follow the shiny object. Yes. Whatever's shiny in front of us. If I got someone in front of me who wants to buy, like everything else is way deep in the distance, in the background, in the shadows. Jerry's working leads in that time. He's also working leads that have gone cold after 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, 30, 60, 90 days, right?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
That's what I love about him.
I always say he's kind of he's agnostic. He doesn't care if it came from Car Gurus or if it came from cars.com or if it came from your website.
Yeah.
He doesn't care when it came in. He is going to, the AI is going to work every lead as it's the hottest lead that's ever hit his desk.
Can you imagine that? Every single lead source that comes into a dealership, they can control
Being
how
worked
it's
at the
being
best
worked
possible way.
by their best salesman.
No, that's literally
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah.
right? I mean, here's some things that I've found. So all of the best practices around follow-up and lead engagement is all completely baked. So I know that it's consistently being done all the time. Here's the one thing I found super interesting. Jerry never says, I'm just following up. How is your day?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like,
or just checking in.
There's the other one. Oh, God,
Just
I can't
checking
say-
in.
Just checking in.
You could learn a few things from Jerry.
You know. And here's the other thing I loved that I saw. Jerry will never tell someone that, yeah, that car's been sold. Thank you. Wah, wah, wah. I'm like, I know you guys may think that is not happening. I'm telling you right
it's
now,
happening.
I've done some very large audits of some very wildly successful operators out there, and still it does happen.
It happens.
Where it's like, oh, thank you for inquiring on the vehicle. It's been sold. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Jerry won't do that.
I just saw an example where a customer had been asking about a truck and a boat and if it towed it, and some VDPs were sent out, and 3 days went by, no response. Jerry was checking in. One of his check-ins, he didn't say check-in, by the way. One of his follow-ups was, hey, have you had a second to picture or imagine your boat behind the truck? And it like put it in and said, hey, when can you come in and take a look at it? Right? Like, it's selling. It's It's truly selling. It's not following up. It's not checking in. It's keeping the conversation going. We all know that turns in the conversation matter. The more turns there are, the better chance of conversion. So Jerry's creating turns in the conversation.
Travis,
The best part about that is during that conversation, let's say, you know what, Jerry, you've overstepped. Don't say that. Well, guess what? In real time, you can tell it, hey, next time, we want you to say this. And so you're not limited to these if-then statements that Kurt brought up earlier. You can really tune this AI to match what you guys are doing today.
I mean, we can get really deep, really nerdy, but I mean, we're now using AI agents to verify and check and run examples of feedback that dealerships are giving Jerry. So if you say, hey, Jerry, we want you to do it this way, Jerry will use his own AI agents to check those examples, run it 100, 1,000 times in the background to see what response is best, and then spit out the best response based upon the feedback. Like, there's AI working for AI. Now I know it gets. We don't have time. I know we don't have time to really dig into it, but we can get really in the weeds of there's AI agents training AI.
Well, and see, that's what I think is so cool. I mean, you guys, look, a large part of my career have been dedicated to training and coaching staff on best practices, proper strategies, ways to measure efficiency. One of the biggest things that I've trained on over the years is trying to change a culture of stop counting leads and start counting conversations.
Yes.
That's always been one of my largest thesis. It was something that was actually very
A lead
key.
means nothing without a conversation.
100%. If I can't get into a conversation, I don't care if y'all are sitting on 500 or 1,000 leads. The number that truly matters is how many conversations that you're in, because I know as a good operator, I trained and coached my team to handle these conversations and ultimately bring those people into the dealership. But if I can't get into conversation with them, then it means absolutely nothing. And by the way, and for anybody out there watching and listening right now, that mindset change will fundamentally change the way you approach AI, the way that you approach marketing, the way you approach your website. It is not always about how many leads, but how many conversations. And now the next step is going to be the quality of those conversations.
Yeah, we talk about all the time about conversations, but meaningful conversations. I think we want to control what we can control. I have speaking with the dealership on the East Coast, and that's kind of where the conversation led to, with AI is in the interest there was controlling what you can control, especially with the environment going on in today's time. I think it's so important to be able to make sure that the customer experience is like they're coming into your actual dealership, but it can be happening on your virtual dealership as well.
Yep.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Okay, so now let's get into kind of the a big question is, choosing the right AI. There is a lot of options.
There is a lot of
options out there.
So
There's a
many.
lot of people that are still claiming AI. They may have very different variations of what that actually means.
Yep.
So let's do this, guys, because since I got you up here and we got a lot of people out there watching and listening right now, what are maybe one or two questions that a dealer should be asking before they're kind of investing into this technology?
We said it before, but if somebody says set it and forget it, then you should forget it, right? Like it's just not, it's just not how it works. Like it just won't work that way.
How long does it take to respond to your leads on average? That's a good question.
That's a great question, right? It's like it should be minutes. It should be minutes. That's the whole idea behind it. I think, is it conversational? That is the biggest piece.
Yeah.
One, is it conversational? But even beyond that, is it goal-oriented?
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
Is it when you watch a conversation happen between whatever AI you're looking at and a consumer, not just screenshots, you should actually see it in real life, is it goal-oriented? Is it trying to sell a car? Is it trying to get you in the dealership? Is it trying to set you up for an appointment? Or is it just answering questions? Is it an if-then circle? If it's that, then it's not a conversational AI. I just saw an example recently where somebody was scheduling a service appointment, and they said, hey, when I come in, I don't have a ride, so I want to go get breakfast. Do you have any suggestions? And Jerry scheduled the appointment, and then gave 3 different restaurants within walking distance. Said you can walk to this one if you're in the mood for this, or this if you're in the mood for this. Like, it's not only doing the right things and answering the questions and doing what the customer needs, but it's having a conversation and creating a relationship with the customer.
No,
it should match your brand. Like I always say, if it doesn't act like one of your best BDC reps or one of your best sales reps when it comes to communication, then it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid one. One I would throw out there when you're choosing the right AI. First, ask for references. Talk to a few other dealers.
References.
But most importantly, find out what the name of their AI is. Go to their Google reviews and tell me how many of those Google reviews mention the AI in it, because one of the things I've been absolutely dumbfounded with is how many times I see Jerry mentioned in a great experience that somebody had at the dealership.
That is a great way to check.
Like, I mean, just like that for me is like the proof is
Jerry
in
was
the
awesome.
pudding,
Jerry
man.
was great.
Like, like these people had no idea that they were talking to him, but so it left such a lasting impression and, to your point, connection that they actually wrote about it in the review.
And I think probably last thing I'll say on this is that the biggest piece is, does it fit into your process? Does it fit into your systems and your tools you already have? If you're going to buy this and it's going to sit in a silo by itself and do its thing, it won't last a month in your dealership because people will not use it if it doesn't already tie into their current systems and their current processes. So make sure that it has the integrations and it can feed data and read data from your other current sources of information that you have.
Here's a homework assignment, because who doesn't like homework?
Yeah.
Go to your website right now and go through the experience of what it looks like in putting a new lead in. If that process is not what you want it to be, if it's not perfect, then that's time for go to the drawing boards, I would say.
I think people have just gotten, we've all just gotten satisfied with the current chat products on websites, and they're just so much better. It's
Well,
so
to
much
your
better
point,
out there.
there is much better solutions out there. And I'm glad you brought up the whole objections. That it's simply there just to questions, or does it have the objective of booking the test drive, or scheduling the appointment, or getting the credit app filled out? Like, having a real objective changes the language in a huge way. And if you're out there shopping right now and you're considering an AI, you need to find out like how objective based is this solution.
100%. Is it driving towards a goal?
100%, 100%. All right, guys, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time. I want to take a quick minute, just kind of like, let's looking ahead, right? So just kind of like beyond lead management.
I don't know if I could have predicted this 2 years ago, so it's hard to predict year two in the future.
What do you guys see? I'm just kind of curious. Like, what's the future of AI in, financing or trade-ins or service? Like, what's on the horizon right now?
I think we're seeing, I think you have someone here from Nuna. That's a company where they're attacking service phone calls, right? From the AI perspective, and I think that is an area where
Untapped.
Like it's a very untapped area, and the technology is getting better, right? From voice AI, and I think that's an area where we can see massive improvements over the next 24 to 36 months.
Yes.
I like right now, Jerry can handle AI tools, chat tools can handle, text conversations around scheduling. But we all know if you go down to the service department, every single service manager will be on the phone because that's 90%. I don't know the stats. It's really high. All service scheduling happens on the phone. Mm-hmm. So that's an area where there's a massive opportunity. And I think you're going to see huge advancement in service. And I think beyond that, you're going to see a lot of mining. When I say mining, it's how do I take your current data and your current database and your CRM of potential customers and your customers have. How do I find additional revenue in there?
Yes.
So I think you're going to see a lot of advancement in mining and creating campaigns where the AI will just go into your DMS and say, hey, here's all your lease pull forwards. Here's everything that we can find that ties to dollars. It's just going to run it automatically. And then once you have a hot customer, all of a sudden you're going to have someone walking in the door, and then you guys can sell the car or upsell or trade or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
One of the things I see as far as kind of looking ahead and where I'm excited for AI is just as these solutions create more context. They have more context, right? When I think about any broken communication or bad experience that happened at my dealership, all right, it was usually a breakdown somewhere in the communication, right? Somebody didn't know, somebody else said of this or said of that or said of this or did this or signed that. There's all. The one thing I'm super excited for AI moving forward is just a continue context of everything. So if I email the dealership, if I'm calling the dealership, if I'm in the dealership at some point and having conversation, right? The more context that this solution has on me as an individual, that follow-up or that continued communication efforts is going to be that much more hyper-personalized.
Absolutely.
And I think that for me, that is one of the things I'm looking forward, and when I'm thinking kind of beyond the lead management is, I've said this for years. You guys watch my content. I've said this for years, right? The best marketing strategy you can ever run out there is the one where the customer feels known. The best experience that you can execute for a customer is the one where they feel known. Okay, the better we know our customers, right? The better that connection is, the more relationship is created there. And I'm excited to see a piece of technology like AI get us that much better in making and maintaining that connection.
Yeah, I think it's untapped potential as we give AI more data. As we give it more data, like the opportunities are, I think, pretty endless.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Hey guys, this has been a wonderful conversation. Guys, thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
This has been a blast. Hey, for everybody out there watching and listening right now, you are a game changer yourself because you've taken the time to consume this. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Hang out. We're going to jump into a Q&A real quick. I know you guys are going to have some questions on maybe some of the stuff that we've talked about, and we'll get right into it. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.
Hey, what is going on, Automotive Nation? Man, I'm just so excited and so impressed with everybody that has come on to this feed, man. We still have hundreds of you guys here, and I'm excited. I got Kurt in the background. He's all jacked. He's ready. He's had a couple Red Bulls. He's ready to go. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if he drinks Red Bull, but he's ready to go. We're going to bring him up real quick. You guys have been texting in your questions. By the way, excellent questions, and there's a couple texts that I cannot repeat on the air. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. You know who you are. Okay. All right, guys. Let me bring up Kurt real quick. Here he comes.
Hey, Jason.
How you doing?
Hey, not Red Bull, but about 4 cups of coffee. So
4 cups of coffee.
I'm pretty amped. I'm caffeinated. Wait, what did John text you? You can.
I'll text. You know what it is? Is look. Here's the thing. In this industry, you know how it is. You've been in it long enough. You get some really good friends, right? Yeah. And of course, if any of them see you go live, they're like, I'm gonna text him real quick and just and say something I'm not supposed to. I'm like,
fine. Yeah,
appreciate it. Yes.
So do we have questions?
We do, man.
Let's do it.
I'm going to say, and by the way, for everybody, we still have a lot of people sticking around for this. This is awesome. You guys have seen the number down below. All right. If you haven't asked your question, make sure to ask your question now. We're going to get into them. And we actually have some good time to get
Let's do it.
So let's pull up our first one. And you know what? This one, we actually kind of had like a couple variations of it. So I might be paraphrasing this. And by the way, guys, if we don't answer all of your questions, we will make sure that we post the questions below this in the show notes and make sure they all get answered. And of course, you know, Kurt's going to give you his personal cell phone number so you can reach out to him.
Yeah, text me 24/7.
There you go. That's why Kurt's an awesome guy. There you go. Okay. Here we go. Here's your first one, Kurt. How fast do we really need to respond before a lead is basically dead?
I mean, look,
he's going to have a loaded question.
The data shows that 80% of people fall off after 5 minutes.
Yeah. Exactly.
After 15, it's 96% of people fall off. And it shows that 78% of people buy from the first person to respond. So, like, AI responds within 60 seconds. Like, I would tell you 90 seconds is the max. Like, it is.
I'm with you because they have a question. Yep. They're looking for an answer. And, you know, it just makes sense why a high percentage of dealers are winning if they respond first, because it gives you the opportunity now to build rapport and create a question. But I will say, for everybody out there watching and listening right now, if you respond to a question with a question, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would say, when is it dead? 15 minutes, half an hour. I think you kind of lost it. And I think it changes for during hours and after hours.
That's true. I think after hours, people are kind of reasonable.
They're a little more reasonable, but the data that shows that 78% of people buy from the first person that responds, that is applicable for after hours. So if you get there first, you got a much better chance.
Well, not only got to be there first, guys, but I'm going to tell you, like, yes, time is matter. Quality of that response is so incredibly important. You know, like I said, I know I was making fun of a little bit, but don't answer a question with a question like, hey, thanks for your inquiry. When do you want to come in? That is the fastest way to lose a customer and never have them reply or respond to you or ever again is that. So if you're a dealership right now and you are still doing that, just stop.
And I don't want to beat this to death, but a response of, hey, we'll have someone reach out to you. That's not a response. Like that doesn't count, I think, as stop the clock. That's not a response. The response is actually engaging in a conversation.
That's right. And let me tell you real quick what the customer hears when they see that. Thank you for your inquiry. We'll get back to you when it's convenient for us, not when it's convenient for you.
Yeah. And also,
and more likely, we'll get back to you with
delete.
Delete. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we can kill this as fast as possible. As fast as humanly possible is the correct answer.
Fast as humanly possible. All right. Does AI actually set appointments, or is it just answering questions?
Yeah, hard book into your CRM. Absolutely. That's the whole idea. We want you to walk in 9 a.m. the next morning and have 6 test drives already scheduled in your CRM.
I think this question comes from maybe an experience with a competing product. That's why I think this is
I'm not going to despairingly talk of any other competitors, but yes.
Oh, I can. And I will gladly do it. Jason, I will gladly do it. Hey, for everybody that asks this question, if you're using a product that's only answering questions, you don't have an AI.
Yeah.
All right. What you have is a tree decision. All right. Somebody asked this, I answered this. They asked that, I answered that, and so on and so on and so forth. And it pisses customers off because they never actually achieve what they ultimately wanted to achieve, right? And it just goes around in circles and eventually just gives up and says, I'm going to have somebody reach out to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a big difference out there. And yes, 100%. Not only your AI should be setting appointments, but your AI should actually have a playbook to multiple objectives inside your dealership. And I'm not just talking about appointments. Let's say you're a dealership out there right now and you guys do a lot of maybe buy here, pay here stuff, right? Like finance apps need to be an objective. So maybe you want the finance app done before the appointment. A real AI will allow you to decide what the objective is, right? Okay.
True AI should be goal driven, right? Goal driven. And in sales, it should be, especially in the OEM car dealership used world, it should be set an appointment, get a test drive set, and get them in for the test drive. That should be the goal.
Well, I mean, think about this. We take all of this time and effort. I mean, we spend millions of dollars on a building. We spend millions of dollars on marketing all year long for ultimately trying to get someone to do one thing, and that's walk into my dealership
through the front door.
You know, and the funny thing is where that breaks down the most is like at this point, not this point when they walk in, but at this point, and that's just where like you actually have to be a human and have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of funny because I like this next one. And again, I feel like this question is coming from somebody who's maybe used another product out there. But how do you make sure?
Most likely, yes.
Here you go. I like this one. How do you make sure AI sounds like our dealership, not a robot?
It's like somebody saw my sales pitch and is like, I mean, I feel like, look, okay, so there's a couple things that make conversational AI, and I think I'll speak to Podium, makes Podium unique is that one, it is goal driven. So like, it shouldn't just be answering questions. It should be trying to get people in your door so you guys can move metal, sell cars. Two, it should be trainable. It should be able to, like, it should imagine it's an employee that you are training and teaching. So I always say Jerry out of the gate is an A- employee. You want him to be A+, spend some time with him, train him, teach him, give him education. What's great is, unlike humans, I'm the same way. My wife will say this a million times over. She must tell me something 20 times for me to actually hear it and actually implement whatever she's told me. You tell Jerry one time, you train Jerry one time, he'll do it exactly like that from that point forward until you tell him not to.
That is I wish I was like that because I'm pretty confident that for probably 5 years straight, I've been told that Tuesday is garbage day. And for some reason, I cannot remember it. Every other thing in the world will come up, and I just simply can't remember this simple thing that is garbage. Anyways, I digress. Okay, here we go.
No, I agree. Like, yeah, we have to tell people, humans, something 12, 15 times for it to actually stick. Yes. But Jerry, an AI should be trainable. It should be able to match your brand, match your type of customer. It should be able to be customized to exactly how you want it to respond.
Ooh, did you guys hear that? Okay, now you need to go back and really question what product or service you're currently using right now, because if you're not able to easily and quickly customize it, and if it's not adhering to your process and procedures, and it's not that level of customized, the guys, all you're using is a box solution, and nobody wants to engage with a box solution. And I will say, guys, yes, I am partial to Podium. I have no problem admitting that to the whole world, okay, whatsoever. But I do admire good dev. And I will say, guys, they have like the coolest dev in the world on this. Literally, you can see in conversation a little button. If you don't like the way Jerry said something, you just hit the button. Hey, Jerry, next time, make sure you say this. That's it. Yep. No support ticket. All right. No calling your account.
You can always call us. You can always call us. You can open a ticket. You can always talk to somebody, but you probably don't want to, right? You'd rather just do it yourself, and you can. And you can watch. What's really exciting, and to your dev point, is like our UX, our UI is, you can see it happening real time, and it will show you, hey, this is how I responded the first time. Here was your feedback you gave me in normal language, and here is the way I would have responded with your feedback. You like that? Does that work? Perfect, it does, and that's how I'll respond moving forward.
That's the great point. And so this next question, I got a couple variations of this. So guys, I might be paraphrasing just a little bit on this, but what's the biggest follow-up mistake you see most dealers making right now?
Not doing it. I mean, and that is not a knock on anybody. Like, we follow, as salespeople, we follow the shiniest of objects, right? So like, if I'm trying, I mean, if I got 15 phone calls to make to people who haven't called me back in 2 weeks, and somebody's walking in the door, right? Like with dollar bills, like those 15 phone calls, they're not going to happen. So I would say the biggest follow-up is one, just not doing it, right? And again, not knocking anybody. I totally understand why it happens. And two, not doing it in a contextual, effective way.
There we go.
That is like, when you look at an AI should be able to take the conversations that's already been had in the past or in the present and use that to follow up effectively in a personalized way. I think the example I gave just recently in our conversation earlier was like, hey, are you done imagining this jet ski behind your new truck, right? Like doing it really, like again, selling on doing it in a personalized way. It shouldn't be, hey, just checking in. Have you thought about buying a car yet? Like,
Oh man,
that is not follow up.
Thank you for saying that. By the way, if guys, for anybody out there watching and listening right now, if in any point in stage your follow up has just checking in the script, just throw it away, burn it. All right. I've yet to actually I've never seen a customer go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you checked in.
I'm so glad you checked in.
I've been waiting.
Can we give people a pass? Okay, so let's give people a little bit of a pass because
I'm not.
Okay, I'm gonna give a pass and just that, like, often we just feel like we just got to get check mark and get it done. Right?
Sure.
And that's a quick and easy way. Lazy. We're all lazy. I'm lazy sometimes too. Like a lazy way just to get it done and say, okay, I accomplished that task.
Yes.
That's because we have other stuff that we feel is more important to do. So this allows us to do that really important stuff, but let Jerry be effectively following up, or an AI effectively following up with our leads.
Well, no, and I think that's a really good point. I mean, look, I see the biggest mistake I see dealers make in the follow up right now is, to your point, you nailed it. Is that they treat it as a task.
Yeah.
Right. Follow up is not a task. This is not a proverbial checkbox. This is not something you just got to like day 3, I do this, and day 9, I'm going to do that. And, third hour, I'm going to do this. And blah, 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 blah. Like it should never be a proverbial, like just checkbox, right? A couple of things, the biggest mistakes I see is that other departments are getting involved, which I actually think is okay. The problem is that the other departments don't have context to what
100%.
the entire conversation is, right? If you don't know what happened in a phone call, if you weren't aware of what happened, on the sales floor, if you don't have this kind of context, what you end up doing is you follow up in a very blank way. And I mean, you want to talk about
you have to be ambiguous. If you don't have context, you have to be ambiguous.
Right. You want to talk about a quick way to lose me as a customer because I feel like you actually don't give a crap about my business is, literally follow up with me, not knowing anything I've communicated to you about before. Like I've gotten this before in my process. Someone followed up with me on a vehicle that I inquired about, but that was like 4 months ago. I had already moved on to an entirely different vehicle. In fact, I actually even purchased it from, anyways, that's how disconnected it was. I actually bought from them an entirely different vehicle, but they were following up with me.
Same thing's happening to me. We just bought my son a used car, and like 6 months ago, and we bought a different car than the one I inquired on in the beginning. Sure. And I'm still getting messages about the original car that I inquired on. I'm like, guys, I've already bought a car.
It blows my mind. Okay, I think we got time for one more.
Yeah, I have plenty of time. So yeah.
Okay. Let's get a couple more. All right, here's one that just came in. Okay, guys, let's be real.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's be real.
All right. What are dealers seeing real ROI, or is it just more conversational jazz fingers?
Like jazz fingers? I think this is one of the jazz fingers. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, this is probably the best comment I've gotten asked all week.
Yeah.
So is this real? Is there real ROI or Kurt?
Okay, let's get real for a second. Yes, it is absolutely real ROI. And not only we can look at sales data. I mean, we can look year over year, month over month sales data. Here is how I know that it is true ROI is we are seeing higher number of people setting appointments. We are seeing higher number of people showing up for those appointments. And in turn, more opportunities for people to sell cars. Now, we're actually seeing an increase in conversion in the people that show up. Like I would love to say that's Jerry, but I think it's the salespeople doing their job, but I think Jerry's done a great job of priming that person, getting them ready to buy. So they're coming in already with a lot of context, already with a ton of information, and they feel comfortable and they feel taken care of by the dealership already, right? They've already had a killer experience, so they feel good. They're walking in, feel good, not annoyed that it took me like 16 emails to get answered a question, and then I schedule an appointment, and I feel like I still don't know the answers to some things. Like, yeah, they're walking in happy.
Well, because people are I think it's a mind shift in the dealership, right? It's too often again, we looked at follow up or communications as a provable checkbox. I just have to check stuff off,
Yeah.
right? That's one. And I think what Jerry kind of opens up the dealership's, eyes to, and staff as well, is the importance of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like it's that moment. In fact, I hate to say it, Jerry's more human than some DDC. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it's
I
just,
know exactly what you mean.
I hate to say that, but there's just some truth to it, right? I think, and I've said this, I started actually beginning the show when I said this too. Guys, as an industry, we got to stop counting leads and we got to start counting how many conversations we're in.
Yeah.
All right. Because, I know personally when I hired my team and I trained my team and I coached my team at my dealerships, right, that I did it because they were great people. And I was excited for any individual to get into a conversation with one of these people. They were highly trained, highly motivated, very passionate about the product. And I was so excited to get, but a lead, that's not a conversation. Guys, as an industry, we have to rethink this. All right. Stop counting leads, start counting conversations. It will change the way you market. It will change the way you staff. It will change, to your point, more people coming in the door. Anyways,
Yeah. And I would take it even a step further that Jerry is more empathetic than a lot of people I interact with on a daily basis, right?
Yes.
So, hey, no knock on Jazz Fingers, right? I'm a big Jazz Finger fan, but it is real. Yes, this is real ROI.
I can almost hear the voice of that individual. I don't even know who it is because it was sent in via
Real
text
talk
message.
time.
But I love
Absolutely.
that one.
It's simple. More at bats.
Okay, we got a service question, and I do want to get, because I know we got a lot, but we have a service customer out there. Hey guys, really appreciate the conversation. How does this help my service communication and retention?
Yeah, I mean, so I think, well, I know where everyone started was the sales side, right? And I feel bad for fixed ops people. I feel like you guys are one of the most integral parts of dealership, but somehow you guys are always last to the table for the companies who are innovating. So
you're the most profitable aspect of our
they are, and
usually at the end of the block.
I don't know why that's the case, but that just seems like, because we're salespeople and that's how we think. But anyways. Yes. So the focus had always been a little bit more on the sales side of the house. Where people now, we are now, where AI I think it's capable of doing is helping you manage your service bay.
Yes.
Helping you manage your service lane. Not only from hey, take all this workload of scheduling oil changes and appointments, take it off my plate from either a text communication perspective or a voice perspective. But also help me go into my DMS and find all my abandoned customers, my next service, my decline services, my state inspections, my recalls, all these things that are just money sitting in my DMS that I don't have the time to go in and find. But let an AI go in there, find it based upon triggers and criteria, and help make me more money.
And let's talk a little bit how it help makes more money, right? Look, what Podium's put together is not another marketing tool. All right. Because here's the problem, I think, as an industry, we've screwed up with these. And by the way, I know you mentioned the word retention. I'd actually push back and say, stop looking at retention numbers, look at your loyalty numbers. Yeah. Here's my problem with retention. Retention stops when the warranty expires. That's the way we measure it. That's the way we measure it in our industry, right? The average dealership right now is losing between 40 and 60% of all their service customers after the warranty expires. So that means once the vehicle warranty expires, guys, they're going to Costco, they're going to Walmart, Mr. Lube, Jiffy Lube, Midas, Joe's Auto Shop, whatever it is, right? We think a lot about the other Nissan dealership down the road that might be our direct competitor. What we forget in the service department is the 16 non-franchise entities that are in my market right now, all wanting that oil job from that customer, because guess what? They're going to go to that Midas or that Mr. Lube or whatever it is, and they're going to pay 3 times more for it, but it was convenient. Anyways, I digress. We're losing customers like crazy there. And I'll tell you one of the biggest reasons why, because we treated service customers like sales. We're just continuing to market to them. The intention should be to get in a conversation. And this is where I think Jerry really helps out, because Jerry's intent is not to go out just to market to them, but actually create a conversation. It's not like, hey, today, free oil change right now. No, that's not what it actually wants to go have a conversation. That's going to make a loyal customer because they feel like somebody's there all the time. It's that old Radio Shack thing. They got questions. We need to be there for answers. Anyways, I agree. You want to add to that, Kurt?
No, yeah, I mean, you nail on the head. But, you know, there used to be this idea, let's send out mass marketing messages, we'll send to 10,000 people. We got this oil special, right? Whatever it is.
Oh,
And then people respond, and then there's no response back from the business. 100%. And it just like, it falls on deaf ears. The customer never comes in, and it was just a waste of money, right? There was no conversation happening. And that is the largest difference here when we think about conversational AI, is that we can send out a message, which is, to be very clear, it is personalized. Now it's personalized to the individual. It's based upon triggers that we know inside of the information data you already have in your DMS. Not, we're going to throw spaghetti against the wall and hope it sticks. It's like, no, this is the idea of purchasing is, and consumer behavior is, can we hit you with a deal or a market or a need when you need it? When you need it is the big key there.
Not only when you need it, I think you can even do it proactively. So,
yeah,
guys, I saw a dealership that used Podium. They did this recently. I thought it was one of the best campaigns ever. Okay. Nissan dealership, the average Nissan Rogue needs like suspension work anywhere between about 80 to 100,000 miles, 120,000 miles, give or take. And it completely depended on where your market is. And just, dude, if you're in like Jersey, I guarantee it's probably closer to 50,000 miles. The amount of potholes there will eat a hole.
On the West Coast, our roads are pretty bad too. So I probably every 50,000 miles, you probably need.
Here's what I love this dealership did. They went and actually looked at suspension work on Nissan Rogues for the last 5 years. And they started to see a pattern right around 87,000 miles. All right. Right around 87,000 miles is when they were doing a fair amount of this. So they created a campaign and quickly got Jerry to communicate out, say, hey, we just want to check in with you. A lot of our clients are complaining about maybe softer suspension or some rattling noises coming around 87,000 miles. You might be kind of in that range. Did you have any concerns, or would you like me to book you a no charge suspension inspection?
Yeah.
All right. I'm telling you, these guys, and I know for everybody out there that works in the service department, suspension work. No.
Hey, but Jason, let's talk about the old way. The old way is, hey, who bought a Nissan Rogue in the past 5 years that's blast them all with, do you need suspension work? Like, that's the old way.
Yeah.
Now we're personalizing. We are narrowing the scope to the people that it matters to.
That's right. And I think that's the coolest thing. We can be... we can communicate to my database hyper personalized at scale. All right. Because Jerry's got this information. All right. They know the last time they came in for service. They know that they may have declined on a service, or they didn't take the winter tires, or so on and so forth. Like, if you can put these data sets together, Jerry will be able to have that information and actually go create a conversation with them that, maybe at some point in time an advisor has to jump in. Of course, it might be the case. Otherwise, they may just go, in fact, actually, I would like to that. I'm getting a bit of a rattle in the front right corner there.
We know you are, because you're 87,000 miles. Like this was on purpose.
But think about that. Think about that from a customer's perspective, how impactful that proactive effort kind of is.
Yeah. It's almost like retargeting, right? It's like, I looked for an air purifier a couple of days ago, and now I'm like getting the ads nonstop, right? But it's because they know that I'm in the market for an air purifier.
Exactly.
So how do we know someone's in the market for suspension? They're 87,000 miles on their roads. Let's hit them up.
100%. Hey, look, Kurt, I know there's a few more questions here. I know we're definitely over our hour.
You and I could talk for hours, though.
No, we could. We love doing this stuff. In fact, dude, we got to do more of this, man. I'm going to come out to Utah. We're going to do another session here soon, real soon. I know there's still some questions out there. Hey, for everybody out there watching and listening right now, maybe didn't get to their question, what's the best way to connect with you, or how can they reach out to maybe continue some parts?
I would look. I'm going to get my cell number. I'm going to do it. Look, I may regret this later. I'm in a good mood right now. I don't know. So look, it's 509-509-475-5521. You can text me, call me. It's kurt@podium.com. So yeah,
I love it, man. I love it.
Can we keep quiet hours from like 10:30 to 6:30? So like in the evenings, but anytime between 6:30 a.m. and 10:30, feel free to call me, text me if you need me.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, for everybody that stuck around, I really, really appreciate it, man. You guys are total game changers, because you took the time, at a very strategic time of the year to start looking and thinking about what type of AI employee you're going to have at your dealership. Not replace, you'll never hear us say that ever, right? But what kind of AI employee are you going to add to your dealership's operations that are ultimately going to help you in 2026? Hey, look, I know you guys aren't going to like or hit subscribe or put some comments out there. But the one thing I will ask, all right, one of the biggest compliments you can give us as content creators is share the show. All right. If you got a friend or a colleague or a manager that needs to see some portion of today's conversation, share the show. It means a lot to us. Kurt, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you, Jason. This was great.
This has been a blast. Hey, for everybody out there watching, you guys have an amazing day, and thank you.